This episode of Moola was brought to you by Just Health. Hi world, this is the Frugal Millennial, and on this episode of Moola, I'm talking to another Canadian, Danielle. Danielle and I met on Instagram and YouTube. She shares a lot of posts about property investing, and because I'm super bullish about property investing, naturally, I had to ask her to come on the show. Welcome, Danielle. How's it going?
Great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Yay.
Yay.
First and foremost, why do you think Canadians are super nice and approachable?
Honestly, I think it's just because of, I don't know, maybe where we are or our history. You know, we're such a diverse community here that everybody is super welcoming because we all come from different backgrounds as well. Like, I'm from Cambodia. I have tons of friends from all over the world, and they're all Canadians. And I think that's what makes us super nice and approachable, because we're from so many different backgrounds that they all come together, and everybody just wants to, you know, get together and learn about each other. And we're very open-minded. That's from my own experience.
Yeah. When you were growing up, did you guys talk about finance with your family?
No. So when I grew up, the only times we talked about financing is essentially when we couldn't afford something, because, well, I don't know if you know your audience knows this, but I came to Canada when I was 4 years old, and I came to Canada as a refugee. So I was an overseas refugee.
Yeah.
We stayed in a refugee camp in Thailand for 2 years.
Wow.
And then when we came here, we pretty much had nothing. All our clothes were donated to us, and we were on like a food ration. And so growing up, it was always very, we were always looking to save money to, you know, make ends meet, things like that. So we didn't talk about money only to say, you know, we couldn't afford this, or like you have to work really hard to get money. So it was it's a very negative environment at home with money per se. So that's pretty much how I grew up. I was like afraid of money, and I feared money because we never had enough. So as I grew into an adult, it kind of stayed with me, and it didn't actually change until, I'm gonna say, a few years ago, when my mindset and my relationship with money shifted because of various factors, like you know, educating myself, talking to people who were in the abundance mindset. That really shifted everything for me.
Great answer. So you said you talked about money a few years ago. Was this pre-COVID or after COVID?
It was pre-COVID, when I just started to realize that, you know, I was having this weird relationship with money where I was like ashamed if I was, you know, if I was succeeding, because my career started, you know, I started moving up like the government ladder. So my salary started to increase. So I was starting to sort of like do well in life. And then as I continued to increase in my salary started increasing, I just started feeling like bad, which was really weird. And I didn't understand it. And then I started going to seminars, you know, just for personal development, you know, with like Tony Robbins. I started reading books. And I realized I had a really poor relationship with money, and I would actually run away from it. Like, I didn't want to be successful. I didn't want people to know I had money. Just because of the way I grew up, I feared it. So that's when I decided, okay, like, this is not how I want to live. I want to be okay with money. I want to use money as a tool to help others and to share, because I didn't have that growing up. So I wanted to change that and be able to shift that and have a positive relationship with money. And when I started, you know, educating myself and networking with people who were really successful, the one thing I kept hearing was, money is a tool, you know, it essentially multiplies your personality. So if you are a giver, when you have lots of money and you are in, like, you know, great abundance, you end up with more to give. And that really resonated with me. And I said, you know what, that's what I want. So I'm going to change my relationship with money. And it took a lot of self reflection and self-awareness to come to that point. So yeah, it was a journey.
Yeah, great answer. I saw, I think, the post about you being a refugee. You said you were doing it for your mum.
Yes.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
Yes. So my mom is my hero. Honestly, I don't know how she did it. Like, she came here with two young girls with my dad. My dad has passed away since. So she pretty much raised us like alone. She was illiterate. She just did everything she could to raise us. She cleaned buildings for 25 years to, make ends meet for us. And, I hated seeing her work so hard. Like, she was never able to enjoy her life. Like, she brought us here so that we could have a better life, so we could have like the education that she didn't get to have, that we could have like the comfort she didn't get to have. And just like picturing her in that refugee camp with two small girls, like, breaks my heart. Even like now, I have two young boys, and I cannot imagine living in a tiny space allocated for a family of four, for 2 years. It breaks my heart. And I want to be able to give her the life that she had envisioned for us, but for herself. I want her to not have to worry about, she still has that scarcity mindset. When we go for dinner at a restaurant, she won't order things that are too expensive because she's still in that mindset where, oh no, like, we can't afford that. And my goal is to make sure she can eat whatever she wants, go wherever she wants, because she deserves that. Like, she pretty much sacrificed her whole adulthood for us. And now that she, is in her 60s, I want her to be comfortable and not have to worry about anything. And for me, real estate is that tool, and money is that tool to give her that comfort and that life she sort of lost because of us, to give us that opportunity. So she's my why, and she's amazing. Like, I could not have done what she did. You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy to me. How did she do that? I don't understand. It's amazing. The hardships that our parents went through for us, I just don't know if we would be able to do that. Like, I just don't know that we have that resilience. I guess you have to do what you have to do with what you have, right?
Yeah, for sure. So what do you do for a living?
So right now, I'm a senior program and policy advisor for the Government of Canada. It's within the immigration department, and I work with international adoptions. So my job is very special. Yes, I'm very lucky. I'm one of the very lucky people that really enjoys their 9-to-5 job, because I find it super fulfilling. I get to help families that are trying to grow their families and trying to also like work with complex cases and things like that. So to me, I feel blessed to have this job. And but I also work, I guess not really work, but I also invest in real estate part-time. So I work on real estate evenings and sometimes on the weekends, because I also love real estate. So I get to do two things that I'm super passionate about. And and my goal is essentially to educate others in real estate so that they can have that sort of as their side income or extra income if they want, just because, real estate is not for everybody. But I really see it as a great strategy if you have your 9-to-5 and you just want some extra income on the side. That's definitely something that anyone can do.
Would you become a real estate investor full-time if you could?
Yes, I think it would depend on how much time it would need from me. At this time, I'm okay with the full-time 9-to-5, and my portfolio is manageable part-time. But if it does continue to grow, which I am planning for it to grow, I will have to shift at some point or make that decision and just go from there. But I'm open to either or.
Yeah. So let's talk about property investing. When was your first property bought in?
So I bought my first property when I was 24 years old. I had graduated. Yeah, it was
amazing.
Honestly, it's crazy. Thank you. I had finished university. I had come back from Australia. Actually, I was there on a working holiday. Yeah.
Nice. Where did you go?
Awesome. I was in Queensland,
okay.
in Surfers Paradise. So I was Capri. That's where I was. And then I had come back from Australia and I was starting my master's and I was moving out and I didn't want to rent. It didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why am I giving someone my money every month when I can just buy it myself? So I was able to take some of my savings, and then my mom helped me as well. So combined, we were able, she was giving me money to go to school for my master's, but I ended up getting a scholarship. So I just used that money that she gave me for school and then bought my first house. And that's sort of where it all started. And when I started seeing the value of the property increasing and then, you know, refinancing it, taking that equity out, I was addicted. I was just like, I am going to keep doing this because this is amazing. Yeah. So I've never looked back.
Can I ask how many properties you have currently?
Yes. So right now we have 11 doors, 11 doors, and we're looking at a small lot with a joint venture partner in Belize. Yeah, that's super exciting.
It is.
Thank you. It's not confirmed yet. We're waiting for the details, but it's something I'm super excited about because I've always wanted to own properties overseas, especially in like a tropical area. So eventually maybe switch to vacation home rentals in the future. But yeah, so everything just sort of started, I would say in the last year. Before that, I was investing just very slowly because I was working my 9 to 5. But since COVID happened, I was able to focus more and I started networking because everything was online. And I couldn't go to networking events because I had my 2 kids at home. And my husband was working in Montreal. So I was home with them alone every other week. But since everything went virtual, I was able to go to these networking events after they went to bed. And I met so many great investors. I was able to grow my portfolio just from networking.
Wow, fantastic. I realized on your website, you mentioned your goal is to have 300, was it 500 or 300 units? 500 units.
In 3 years.
In 3 years. How are you going to do that? That seems such a
crazy,
phenomenal,
right?
It's such a big number. How are you going to do that? What's your plan?
That's the plan?
Yeah.
So like that number came up because originally I honestly, when I started, I was like, I'm going to be happy with 10 doors. And then I was like, you know what? I can do 50. And then I have a mentor and he's like, you got to 10x everything, 10x your goals. So I said, you know what? Okay, let's do 500. And then I'm working with my sister who's also an investor and she has also a fair size of portfolio in her name. So we decided to, you know, work together and build our portfolio together. So I figured that's 250 doors each, 500 total. And our plan is to raise capital and invest with joint venture partners in larger apartment buildings. So like 25 units, 35 units. So that will definitely scale our portfolio much faster because right now we're doing like duplexes and fourplexes. So by raising capital, working with other people who are, you know, interested in more passive investing, they would be our partners and we would manage the apartment buildings and just take care of the whole process. And that's pretty much the plan, joint venture partners and raising capital.
Well, I can't wait to see the progress in 3 years' time.
Thank you. I'm excited. It's a huge goal, but you know, if it's not scary, if your goals aren't scary enough, they're not big enough, right? So to me, that's huge. So, and I don't know who says this, but you know, they say like reach for the moon and then you'll land among the stars, right? And it's still amazing. So we've talked about your property investing journey. Let's talk about side hustles.
do you have any side hustles besides your property investing?
I feel like I always have side hustles. I'm always looking for things to do. But right now, I am more focused on growing my real estate portfolio. But I have had a few people reach out to me and ask me if I would coach them. So I decided that in the next month or so, I may put together a coaching program.
So do you budget at all?
Yes, we do. It's really important for us to budget because we have so many things going on. So we have budgets for our rental properties. We have budget for our like personal family finances. And then we budget for like trips and extras and the kids stuff. So everything is allocated for specific reasons. So that's why it's super important, because we need to know where our money's going, right? So that's the only way to do that. So yes, definitely budget.
Yeah. Do you have any money saving tips?
So I guess for me, if you're looking to save money, just ask yourself if it's worth your time. Like when you're buying something, like just remember how much time it took you to earn that money to pay for that item. And most of the time when you think of the item as an amount, a measurement of your time, you may be more inclined not to buy it or not need it. So that's how I look at it. Because I used to be a waitress. I was a waitress for 10 years. And I always look at my things, like if it's a trip, for example, and it's $1,000, I'm like, okay, how many shifts do I need to work to pay for that? And you're like, okay, it's $100 a day. Let's say, how many tables do I need to serve? So that's how I break it down. And then if it's not worth it, I'm like, oh no, I don't want to serve 50 tables to buy this item. So no, I'm just gonna pass.
Yeah. That's a great saving tip. Besides your home, and your properties, what else are you investing in? Do you invest in shares?
Yes, so we have a portfolio of dividend paying stocks as well, and my husband has invested in crypto as well. So we tried to diversify our investing with a little bit of everything, because it's good. It's good to be in the know of what's going on. It's good to invest in a little bit of everything, but just make sure that you know what you're investing in. And if you don't know, then hire someone that knows, so that way you are comfortable with it. Yeah.
Speaking of investing in stocks, you can get up to $150 worth of free stocks by visiting the referral link below for Stake, which is an online stock trading platform that trades numerous US stocks. What do you think money can help you with?
Oh my gosh. So I used to think, again, based on our conversation earlier, that money was like this bad thing. But now I love money. So my relationship with money is totally different now. I love money because it allows me to do so many things, not just like freedom for myself, but I have so much more to give. I love giving things. Okay. So I just feel like I'm able to buy gifts for people. I'm able to help people achieve their goals for whatever, reason. I can give to the causes that are dear to my heart. I love children. I love education. So, donating to schools, it's really important for me. So I think money is an amazing tool to give and to help you do what you want to do. And it doesn't have to be a negative thing. It doesn't have to be this thing that you have to fear. It's really your relationship with it. And I'm in a different relationship with money now. Money is my best friend. So that's how I'm.
That's great. Yeah. Now we're doing the lightning round. Are you ready, Danielle, for the lightning round?
I am ready.
Do you think money can bring you happiness?
Yes, definitely, because money can make you more comfortable, which can then create a lot more happiness than if you were in, uncomfortable situations. So I think comfort can equal happiness, because people think of happiness as like an emotion, but those emotions come from your surroundings as well. If you're living very comfortably and you are with people that you love because you have the ability to give them that time freedom, then you are going to be happier. So even though it can buy you superficial things, it can also buy you non-superficial things at the same time.
Yeah. Number 2, if you had won, let's say $20 million, what would you do?
So I know that it's not exciting, but I definitely would invest, buy more properties, but then I would just give it away, because what's the point of having all this money if you can't do anything with it, right? So I would just give it to my causes and help those who need the most help, right? Like children, especially, or the elderly.
Yeah. Number 3, what's your favorite book or finance book?
I have a lot of books, but that I love, but the one that always comes to my mind is Rich Dad Poor Dad, just because it shifted my mindset a lot from being an employee to being an investor. He talks about, being an employee, self-employed, being an investor, and like a big business owner. And that really shifted my mindset, because I don't want to be an employee. I want my money to work for me. And that's where I started focusing on real estate as a tool to achieve that.
Number 4, Warren Buffett or Cathie Wood?
I'm gonna go, you know what, like this is like me and my husband. So I'm a Warren Buffett fan, just because I like boring, I like stable, but I know that Cathie Wood is also sort of like the future as well, right? Like she knows what's going on. She's more into the crypto. So I say both.
Yeah.
That's
fine. Number 5, Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos?
Ooh, so they both pretty much changed the world. So, same thing. I would say both, but if I had to pick, I would say Elon Musk, just because I am a Tesla owner and I love his ideas, and I think he's going to do great things for us.
If you had to choose Warren Buffett, Cathie Wood, or Elon Musk, who would it be?
Okay. I'm going to say Elon Musk, just because I love his vision. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Danielle. Finally, where can we find you on social media?
So my social media Instagram handle is at danielle.unsworth. And you can also go to my website, danielleunsworth.com.
Great. I'll put the links below. Thank you so much, Danielle, for coming on to this show.
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here. So thank you so much for having me.
And that is it of this episode of Moola Moola. If you like this podcast, please share, like, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Don't forget to check out my links below to sign up for freebies. Let me know what you thought of this episode by visiting my Facebook page. Just search The Frugal Millennial. Thanks for listening.